Adventist Radio London, and just get hold of the podcast from last week. I think it was a really good one. He actually managed to change the direction of this battleship, so which it's not an easy thing to do. So
Your battleship turn?
turning steady. You can't turn a battleship on a sixpence.
Oh.
You can't.
Ask the USN.
You can't turn the battleship on a sixpence. So, but today we're going to kind of continue. We're going to finish our season. I know we stretched over into March, but we're going to kind of end our season still talking a little bit about love. And today we're going to talk about 20th century Christian dating. The title is To Swipe or to Stare. To swipe or to stare. Which do you prefer?
I hope Yvonne is here, because this was an inspiration from Yvonne in terms of talking about online dating, because she had put up a comment one week when we were discussing one of our love weeks, and you asked, what would I prefer, to swipe or to stare? Can I say I've swiped and I've stared?
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to give you the answer now?
Well, you can tell me what you think, which one you prefer.
To stare.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
stare.
and that's kind of what that's kind of. Hold on.
Of swipe and definition of
Yeah,
steer,
and
please.
yes, we'll define that. Paul Weeks says, "Hi Mark, hi Paul, hi Charlie."
Hey.
Paul Weeks is with us.
Oh.
Paul Weeks is with us. He's not. You're not usually a Wednesday night man. That's nice. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So you're going to hold us all to account now tonight. Actually, you're not going to believe this, but I've actually got in my notes somewhere a quote that I got from you, Paul, and I what do you call it? Bolded it out just to remember to comment on it, and I will certainly be giving you your what do they call it? Your not acknowledgement, but the fact that you're the author of this quote. So when we get to it, but yeah, good to see you. So Paul Lee says he wants a definition of to swipe or to stare. Well, with the online dating versus meeting in person, online dating, you see the profiles and you swipe left or right, and to stare is really just to make the title. The versus to stare is when you meet someone in person. Eyes meet, eyes lock against each other across a crowded room. Shelley?
The swipe. Digital chemistry, algorithms, curated profiles. So when you're talking about swiping in terms of, usually they ask you to put information in. So by the information you put in, then they decipher from the other profiles which would be something that you potentially would have interest in, and those are the profiles that you then see. That if then they will generate images of that individual, and then if you like them, I think it's a swipe left, and if you don't like them, you swipe left. If you like them, you swipe right, and then there's a lot of the, depending what type of platform it is. It also sometimes the girl has to like the guy first before the guy can like the girl, or the guy has to like the girl first.
That's not equality. I'm
But
writing in about that.
Exists?
No, but it depends on what type. So there's different sites, and depending on the type of sites they're driven by. So a girl could, for example, a guy could like a girl, but if the girl doesn't like the guy, then he will never have an opportunity to speak to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
doesn't that
different-
work the same way? If a girl likes me and I don't like her, she should never have an opportunity to speak to me. Doesn't that work the same way?
Yes. Hold on.
That's all right. I'm okay with that. You both got to like each other in order to have the opportunity to speak. So you can see what you're doing.
Sophia, we're talking about the swipe or the stare. Where does modern dating start? So we're talking about modern dating. So Mark was asking the question in relation to, Paul asked the question in terms of what's defining what the swipe is. So we were talking about digital chemistry, algorithms, curating profiles, and I guess with that comes the filtered pictures, and the images people are using that's not of themselves, or if you use an image of when you were, or if you use an image when you were when you were 21, for example, and keep it as adult. You use the image when you're 21, and now you're like 68, so you don't look the same as you did when you were 21. But that's the image that you've put up for people to like, and then the stay, as you said, in terms of real energy. It's you see somebody across the room, you get that feeling of butterflies, and or if it's a female, you drop your hanky and you hope that the gentleman picks up the hanky, or if it's a man, what do men do now? I don't know what men do nowadays. Do you just wink at the girl and hope she comes over, or do they just stand up and wait for the girl to approach? But men don't approach. I don't find men approach as they used to anymore. But anyway, that's a whole different discussion.
I'm going to read a few comments from Paul Weeks here. He says, here is the problem with modern dating. If a guy mentions how nice a woman looks, that's sexual harassment. But if he keeps quiet, that's male indifference. If a man buys a woman flowers, he's after something. If he does not, he's not thoughtful. There's some more. If he's proud of his achievements, he's full of himself. If he isn't, he's not ambitious. If he tries to keep himself in shape, he's vain. If he doesn't, he's a slob. If he puts a woman on a pedestal and tries to protect her from the rat race, he's a male chauvinist. If he stays at home and does housework, he's a pansy. If he lets himself be vulnerable, he's a wimp. If he doesn't, he's intensive. I read that as insensitive because that's what I thought you were going. He's intensive. If he pursues a woman, he's stalking her. If he doesn't, he lacks self-confidence. I'm glad I'm married. Well done, Paul. Well done. My nephew told me that most of the men work on their top half in the gym because that's the only part seen on the app photo. Oh dear. Oh dear. I think there's a lot to what Paul Weeks said there. Actually, there's a lot to that, but we will get to that and we will unpack that a little bit. So what is your preference? Your preference is to meet across a crowded room.
Yeah, and I guess
that.
and I think the thing about the online dating, and as I said, I've been honest. I said I have dabbled in the online arena. Online love. Oh, sorry. Can I just read some comments and I'll go back into talking. Sophia says, "Oh, Father," in the words of Paul. Or Paul has said father, not a Trinidadian accent. Good evening, ARL family. Hi, Yvonne. Online love connections could be just AI loving. Can it work? Yep, we'll talk about that. Paul Weeks has a point. Sophia is saying, to be honest. And yeah, so I think for me, the thing is that because as I'm getting older, I'm realizing the things that I really like. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you think you like something, you really don't like it. So I actually like the organic meeting of a person. Yes. I like the whole butterfly feeling. I like the whole, you get shy when a person walks into the room and your cheeks are hurting you because you're like, oh my God. I'm still quite girly-ish when it comes.
But can't you get that from an app?
No, because
butterflies. Oh, look at that picture. Oh.
I worked with a lady once, and she said to me that she went on a date with a guy. Mm-hmm. She met him online, and I love it when you're working with some of the youngers now because they talk so openly about things. Mm-hmm. So she said to me she met this guy online. They go on a date. So I was like, oh, when he got home, did he text you to let you know he had gotten home? Oh no, we don't do that. I said, oh, did you speak to him? Oh no, we don't speak. What? So they text each other. So everything is texting with emojis and LOLs and everything else. I'm like, so how is it when you see each other? Yeah, it's limited conversation, but it's just like we're just vibing in it because we're next to each other. And I thought, what? So how do you develop your conversational skills with someone that you meet if you're just texting? And that's the thing about it, because there's always that theory in terms of, do you stay online? Mm-hmm. How long do you stay online for? At what point do you know it's safe enough to come offline? Do you video call? And now with AI, as Yvonne said, with AI, you can now use AI imagery to talk. So sometimes people used to verify your conversation, like, oh, well, send me a video, and you'll send a video with a date and time, or you'll do it. And now you can use AI to generate an image that talks to you. So now scammers, because that's the big thing about online and scammers. Like you have someone that you talk. I remember a friend of mine was talking to this gentleman, and he said to her, and I was in America at the time, so he had said to her that he was a French Canadian. So the picture of this gentleman was a Caucasian French Canadian guy. And when I heard him, I was like, he's Nigerian, hang the phone up. I said to him, he's not, I could hear the Nigerian accent. He wasn't French. And I said, but she didn't know. She just heard the accent and she made an assumption and that it was, I said, no, you could hear. You could hear it was someone of color. And B, you could hear the Nigerian accent in the background. I said to her, hang the phone up. But she was so distressed by it.
Yeah, but he could have been a very nice Nigerian.
He could have.
Yes, but if it's going to start off on a negative basis,
On a lie.
or a lie,
Yeah.
what is the hopes for the future after that?
Okay. My very next note says this is not about condemning technology. It's about discernment. So it's not if your experience has been by swiping and you've got a positive experience, do let us know. It's 0745 964 2898. That's 0745 964 2898. Because it clearly must be working for some people, or else it would have died a death by now. Let me catch up with Paul's. Paul says, did you know that 63% of men between 18 and 30 in the US are not looking for a relationship? They're happy being single. Modern women have been telling men that they do not need them, and now the men have listened. I think there's a lot of truth to that as well.
What's wrong, Paul? You okay?
No,
I agree
think
with you.
because
I agree
that
with
is true. I mean, okay, so 40 years ago, and I was in the middle of my dating phase, that was the talk that you would hear. I don't need a man, okay, maybe I'll have a baby and then get a flat, because at that point the government will put you priority on the list. But then they didn't even want to move in with the guy and then see if the relationship work. It wasn't about relationship, it was about getting a flat. So, yeah, and right through that phase of my life, it was about, I don't need to have a man, what's the point of him? And men have listened. Okay, there's no point. Let's not do that whole relationship thing.
Hold on. So is it wrong not to need a man but want a man?
Is it wrong? Hold on. There's quite a few negatives in that.
No.
Is it wrong not to need a man?
So, because you're saying that so many women talking about they don't need a man, but but I'm just asking the question is you may not need it, but you may want it.
Yeah, but that's a semantic. When they're saying I don't need a man, it's like I don't need to have a relationship. So what Paul is saying that now 63% of men between 18 and 30 in the US have been hearing that for generations, and so now they've listened. So they've grown up and not developed this thing about the next phase in my life is to have a girlfriend or seek a long-term relationship.
No,
just not bothered.
Based on the stats that Paul has given, what era or time was the start of or the conclusion of independent women?
Well, do you mean independent, just independent, or are you saying the women that
the Beyonce? What's the name of her group?
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child, independent women, because at that point, I seem to recall, it was like at the height of this idea that women were now the power brokers. They were the ones in control, and they could decide whether or not they wanted a male partner or wanted to be in any way on par or level or subservient to a male, because they had the power. So I'm asking, at what point did it start, and at what point has that ended? Because I found that where there used to be a disparity where the men were very much in control of relationships, and society just dictated that it was men that were the people in control, and that has changed. The balance has changed, and we certainly went through an era of the independent women, and the power to the women changed that shape. So has that ended?
I'm not
Because
so sure.
According to Paul's statistics, that has reached a certain demographic now.
Yeah. No, so I think I don't think it's ended. I think it's, well, the chickens have come home to roost. I think what's happened is I think it rose up in the 80s, because before that, maybe I was just too young. So maybe somebody who's maybe a generation older than me, if they're listening, they can say if it was around in their generation. But growing up, I wasn't aware of that, and even as a young boy, I say a young boy, an early teenager, beginning to think about dating, that wasn't the environment. There was still we were still
Society dictated that.
It was the age of chivalry was still there.
Yes.
So I would say it's around about the 80s, early 80s, and maybe we're into the 90s. And that's why I think the chickens have come home to roost, because now Paul's actually said a lot of women. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of women saying, "Where are all the good men?" Well, now they are looking after their own peace and finance, because we went through the whole thing about I don't need a man, and kick men to the curb, and So now when they're looking for the good. No. We went through. No, hold on.
That is a hug, man.
Hold on.
To be fair, as Paul is saying, there is a plethora of emails, videos, whatever, on social media that leads to that. And it's telling you that. And driving that.
Yeah, so and you can say, oh, what do we do to get out of it? Or you can say, it was a certain demographic, or it was a certain generation, I should have said, of women that were saying that. But you can't just dismiss it. So anyway, so Paul's saying is that, right, so looking after their own peace and finance. So the chickens have come home to roost. The feminist movement started in the 60s as a way of giving women more financial options and avoid domestic violence. But it has changed into a religion without salvation, where women are alone. I love that. A religion without salvation, where women are no longer partners, but competitors to men, leaving them alone and broke.
Thank you. Can I just say thank you so much to the females who have now jumped online. I
Just read the comments.
I cannot go this show without you tonight. I need your support. I'm about to read my comments.
See, I don't want you to set it up like you and I, or you and against me and Paul. We're talking about, we've done some research, we've got some notes, and we're bringing them out, and people can challenge them, and people can say, that was only the case in X amount of time, or such and such a time, or whatever, or challenge it, fine, but don't set it up like you need support, like we're ganging up on you.
I didn't say anyone was ganging up on me, but I said I need support.
Typical.
Okay.
Typical.
Yeah.
Go on, read your comments.
I am going to read it, and I don't need you to tell me when to read it either.
Read your comments. Read them now.
I will read them.
Read them now.
I will.
You don't want to read them anymore? You want me to read them?
Help me. Holy Spirit, activate, yeah? Right. So it's weird how men feel that they can interpret what women say when they state they don't need a man as opposed to wanting a man. Charlie, how do you manage? I don't know how I manage.
What, without
Send
a man?
ice cream. No, with you guys in here.
What? Who's that?
Okay. Next comment. I think that's a result of many men behaving so terribly. Now women can earn their own money, etc. But it doesn't mean they don't still want a man in their lives. Thank you.
So
Again,
hold on,
I
hold on,
believe
no,
many
no, hold
wo-
on, hold on. I don't want you to just read and go on. So let's unpack what that statement said. So when women say I don't need a man, they don't mean I don't need a man. Oh, they mean I might not need a man, but I want a man.
There's a
Is that what they're
difference.
saying?
I'm saying there's a difference between needing and wanting. So,
Yes.
For
So when they
example,
say they don't need a man,
so
what are they
so
saying?
listen. So I may not need. So some women may need a man to pay their bills. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas other women don't need a man to pay their bills. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So what they may need from a man may be different, but it may be called needs and wants. That's what I'm trying to say. So
So when a woman says I don't need a man, what is she saying? I don't what?
So
But
I'm
it's a choice, is it
I'm
not a
able to do
choice?
I'm
Yeah.
able to do certain things
Yes.
without the reliance of
Yeah.
a man.
Yes.
But may I want a man around? Yes, I might want a man around, but do I need a man? I don't need.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I read? Paul, hold on 2 seconds. Let me just read a couple of comments here because they're coming. Yeah.
Read your comments, man, before we
I
just
believe many
march
women
them
want
down.
a man, but they value their peace more. Yeah. Then I've got your back. Thank you so much for having my back.
Who said
And
that?
then Ruth come in and says, sorry, I beg to differ on this topic. Ruth, type your comment and I'm waiting. Monique now, on this side, it says, good evening. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Men in and out of church socialized to sow their
Of what?
royal oats, or women
In and out of church, okay.
Yeah.
I was asking what the word was.
Oh,
yeah.
or women deciding that they were no longer going to wait for men to sort themselves out.
So read that one again for me.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Men in and out of church socialized to sow their royal oats, or women deciding they were no longer going to wait for men to sort themselves out.
Men were sorted out long time.
Many men often come to.
Oh, you got another one. Let's go.
I had another one, but no, it hasn't finished. Many men often come to the women are typing, so we have to give them time because I know this is
Alright.
one of those topics.
No, it doesn't have to be.
It
doesn't.
does.
Don't set it up like that.
Paul came in heavy.
No, Paul didn't come in heavy.
Paul Weeks came in heavy.
Paul Weeks came in quite reasonably, I think. But anyway, Paul Lee
Here's
wants to
my
make a
minutes. Go,
Yeah.
so, yes.
let me just read his latest comment. If a woman needs a man to pay her bills, then that's a subscription, not a relationship. Boom!
I don't need a man to pay my bills.
No, I know it's about you.
Well, here's
Yeah, he's right. That means you want a subscription, not a relationship.
Well, here's the thing. We're actually the topic that we're talking about is about
Swiping.
Is about dating, whether it's an online thing or whether it's an organic thing, as
Yeah,
you said,
yeah.
whatever. But the fact of the matter is, you can have people, whether male or female, that doesn't necessarily want to be in a relationship. They want to have friends who are platonic friends that they can socialize with and do whatever, but they don't necessarily want to be in a committed relationship. And then you also, as we have said on a number of occasions, a disparity within the numbers of males and females. So you've got an additional problem there right from the outset. And given that things have been equalized in terms of work and social standing and whatever, women are in a much, much more powerful position than they used to be in, and they can make a choice.
Yeah.
And they make a choice whether or not they want to have someone, and they can be as picky and as choosy as possible. So they don't have to satisfy with what you have to offer. They can go around the world, and given that we're in a technological age, you don't have to stay in one place. And that's whether you are in the church or out of the church.
Okay. So
And that's the good thing about, and I think that's one of the good things about online, because you meet people, and I think people don't only do it for dating, people do it for friendships as well.
Yeah.
And you meet people that is in a different sphere to you, totally.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, put it out so that you do internationally, or if you do, you'll meet people in circles that you're not necessarily going to meet them as you're walking down Oxford Street, for example.
That's correct.
Or you sit in a church service. So, and you can make it as tight in terms of radius or as open as you want. So that is a great and a powerful thing of networking with people, and a good result is you might find a love of your life that way as well. So you want me to read the comments?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Sophia says, I don't need a man as I'm independent, career woman, house, car, etc. But it's nice to have male company. That's the difference, Mr. Gray.
No,
I
I understand the difference. Maybe only too well.
So Marie said there's a need for male companionship, not necessarily male financial dominance. Dominance. Sophia goes on to say some men can't cope or feel intimidated by independent women.
Here we go. That old
Speaking
chestnut.
from experience. No, don't say that. While others are attracted to independent women. Do you know, I have a female friend, yeah? And she is intimidated in dating anyone that like has degrees or has a high flying job and all of that. So she will only date.
Does she or not?
She has a good job.
Okay.
She has a degree. But if she went through a season where she was online dating, and anytime a guy who like he had a job that was like
Quite high
powered or anything, and this is a woman who has her own property, has her own things.
Yeah.
But for some reason, every time, and I kept saying to her, like, why? She's like, oh no. And I think it's a self-esteem thing for her because she just felt, oh, they might be more intelligent than her. Okay.
I find that comment extremely interesting.
Okay.
Extremely interesting because there have been so many cases and scenarios where women have been given advice or they've shared advice or whatever, or society has said that they should not associate or seek after someone that is below their level of standing.
Women,
Right.
for women shouldn't, or
Women
people shouldn't.
should
Okay. yeah.
not date or find someone below, except that the world that we have grown up in, and we've been very fortunate in that respect, it's never really mattered who you date. Your wife could be a chief executive or whatever, and she earns a tremendous amount, and you share all of those things and whatever together, and you're happy because you love that person, not because of their position in life, but because you care for that person and whatever. But society, and I found certainly since the big push on the independent women has told women and pushed women to the point where they should not associate themselves or be in a relationship with a man that is below their social standing.
You know,
Wow.
can I?
Okay.
Sorry.
Go on,
Can I
make your
just
comment.
can I just say, I think it's about potential. I don't see myself above or below anybody in terms of. So I think if I meet someone,
Right.
yeah, they can hold me in a conversation.
Yeah.
They've got
There's something about
acumen. You know what I mean? They've got.
acumen, that's the
I mean,
word.
so you know, because me, I'm a builder, and I call myself a creative problem solver because I like to. So if you give me a problem, I'm there in my mind trying to work out. I want someone who can come, and that means it could be a lay person.
Yes.
Once you're not lazy.
That's-
Once you know
and
what I mean,
that's
once
rational.
once you can be like,
Yes.
you take your mickle, I take my mickle, we make a muckle, and before you
But
know it,
that's-
we're selling
that's a
slippers on the beach.
rational- That's a rational thing, and you're in an arena with a lot of people, whether male or female, that is happy to accept the person for who they are, and it doesn't matter about their social standing or where they are. But I heard so many occasions conversations and seen so many says, if you are, an executive or whatever, you don't marry a dustbin man. Do you understand what I'm saying? There has been so much of that being pushed in society that a lot of people can't help but think that way. I don't think they're naturally thinking that way, but society is pushing them to only have people that is either on the same level or above them.
But then there's a lot of people who've also, and I know we've touched upon it one of the weeks already, who have gone through when they've tried to bring somebody on the come up, and then once they've gotten where they're to the place they've gotten, then they leave them for somebody else. So you meet a man that's a dustbin man. You're chief executive.
You know what?
You teach. You bring them under your wing. You send them to university.
Yes.
You you do everything else.
Charlie, there are countless cases like that.
Yes.
There really are. We can't deny it. We can't behave as if these things don't happen. They do happen. However, that's not the norm. And because a few people will have bad experiences, you can't take that and colour everything as if that is how it's going to be. If you've got somebody and you're doing well and you bring them up or whatever, the moment they get there, they're going to leave you. And I've heard lots of those sort of arguments and things as well. But we have grown up, we, the three of us in here, have grown up in a society and a church setting where that hasn't really mattered, except I'm going to really bring this one here. You ready for this one? Except with some of our parents, right, who are very unaccepting of the person that you choose, right? And sometimes they even steer you, or they want to steer you into a certain term. How many times have you ever heard, well, you should marry a pastor?
I didn't get that one.
There have been
I know.
of
I know. I
those.
hear that.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So our people of our parents' generation, a lot of them did think that way. But now you're in this age where everything goes. These sort of things don't matter, and yet they do matter.
So I've got comments.
Hold on. So you've been talking for a long time. So it's 0745 964 2898. Please feel free to join the conversation if Charlie will let you.
Welcome to the Mark Show, everyone.
Hey! the Mark Show Mark Show where he just sits there and looks at the screen.
Can I read my feminine comments, please?
Oh, grief. We're not talking about love ever again, or man, anything to do with man or woman.
We are. Or is it? I agree
on
with Charlie. Unfortunately, there are men who do not have direction or work ethic, and they just want to sponge off you. Women, help your boys. No, that's true. There are many of them. Yep, I agree with Charlie on the point of accepting the person if we connect.
Yeah.
What Paul says is saying is true, and the example Charlie has cited is true, and can have a real bad impact on the pair.
Yeah.
Partner who uses you to get where they want to be. Yep, there we go. Then we have the scenario of women supporting, nurturing men, and then the man leaves them when he leveled up is very much an everyday occurrence. And because of that, so many people are guarded. So many females are guarded. So you know what? It's not that they don't want to give the sorry, I just had a flashback of I just had a flashback of I was in a certain area and this guy came up to me. I was in those days I was working in a different industry and I was in a work suit and I just popped into the shop to pick up some stuff, and this guy with his hand in his pants doing the lean.
In his pants or in his pocket?
You know, in his pants. You know, like the saga boy kind of thing. Kind of comes up to me and was like, wow, you're the most beautiful woman I've seen. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you. He's like, are you married? I wasn't at the time. I said, yes. Oh, he's one lucky man. And he walked and I thought to myself, you see me in a suit, my friend. Why are you coming up to me like that? Like you're taking this chance and this opportunity. But
Well, he thought you were the one.
Huh?
He thought you were the one.
No. But I'm brave man, brave man.
Listen, guys. We've been hijacked. We wanted to talk about dating online or meeting in person, and it's somehow become a woman versus a man thing. Now, so I'm working on the premise that women like men and men like women. How do we meet them? Because the next thing I've got on my notes here is that although scripture does not mention dating apps, it does speak that you should be intentional. And I've got here in highlights, dating should always be purposeful, not recreational. What do you guys think about that? And this is going to lead me to my infamous, ever famous, timely Paul Weeks comment that because I certainly dated recreationally. I dated
For fun.
That's what recreational is, yeah.
Okay.
For fun. I dated recreationally.
Did the other person know you were dating recreationally?
Of course. So what, you thought I was deceiving people?
Sometimes people don't share the fact that they are on a
That's true.
they're on a ragga tip.
That is true.
Oh no,
That is
what?
true.
They're just having fun. They don't share that. So what happens is you have
Eddie.
the praying
No, you have
female.
broken hearts. You
No,
have
no,
broken
no.
hearts.
Yeah, no, but you have someone who sometimes come in
No.
and saying this is what my expectations are,
Yeah.
and in his mind he's just like, I'm just having fun, but he knows
no.
the type of caliber of woman he will get if he gives her the impression that there's longevity here. So therefore, he plays a game, and then when he's bored, he
But
chips.
Charlie,
the truth is, he might not give you that impression that there's longevity, but it's never ever discussed. And
Or he could say-
the other partner, whether it's male or female, the other partner might feel that might be the case and commit themselves in that way, while the other person is not thinking in that way at all.
But then if
And-
they were
and
going to
that's
commit
not-
themselves, they would
that's
talk
not-
about it, Paul.
That is not exclusive of whether it's a male or a
No,
female.
no.
And the reason why I said that is that the point that one of our listeners made about how many men use women to come up to a certain level, and then once they're whatever, is that any different to the women who approach men to find out, are you going to pay my rent?
Yeah.
Are you going to buy me X? Are you going to? And so what I'm saying to you is, it is unfortunate that we're living in a world and a society that is just so messed up that there are people who are very misogynistic, whether it's male or female, misogynistic, and take advantage of people because they can, and they lead people on. So the point that you've just made about whether someone gets somebody into a position because of what they can actually get out of that person. It's cold and it's callous, and I don't recall being ever taught that sort of behaviour, but it exists now.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was interesting that the first thing when I said I dated recreationally, you said, did the other person know? If I could meet you when I was 20, 25, 23, 22, and have 2 tickets for the theatre. We've discussed my tickets for the theatre many times. And so we go on a date. Now, if you then go home and say to your parents, I'm getting married next month, that without having and all we did, we went to see, I don't know, The Lion King, then clearly there's something that needs to be discussed between us. That's what I mean by recreational dating. I have 2 tickets for next week. Let's go on a date. I found a really nice restaurant. Let's go there to eat. When? Next week, Thursday. It's a date. But anyway,
I've got comments in, but
Okay.
I like to clearly define things. I'm a clear definer.
Okay.
I think everyone dates for fun at some point.
Yeah.
Um.
So you date because it's a
No.
duty.
Not everyone does that.
Okay.
fun.
All right. So,
Okay, so let me read some more. Rachel, if we
Yeah.
are to date with intention, then wouldn't that mean that online dating could be a waste of time? Isn't it easier to be deceived by a potential partner online? It is. But then let me read. That's why, and then Gwen says, well, that's why you have to have those conversations. Don't let things run on for months and you don't know what the status is. I 100% agree with that. And you know
of
why?
course.
I don't know. No. And then she's definitely.
course.
You know why? Because I think there's sometimes some people love the attention they get. They love some people love the chase and never the catch.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So-
That
so-
is a true
That's
statement,
right.
but that's
That is true,
that's
too.
a true statement. But I
Yes.
don't see the connection. But that's a true statement.
Yeah, no, because what they will do is if you don't define that what's happening here, so you find someone, they will call you 20, 30 times in a day. They
What, just to ask if you want to come to the theatre next Thursday?
No, but just like checking on you. Just, are you okay? Are you fine?
Yeah.
I mean, just checking on you. They will want to take you out for dinner. You go out for dinner, and you're spending more and more time. And then you want to say to the person, "What's going on here?" And then all of a sudden, things change and people get all funky. Why? Because actually, I liked it when we didn't have a title on it. I like the fact that I was making you blush and all that, but I don't want to commit. But anyway, I've got loads of comments on this side, and I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose any of them.
Yeah, and remember, the program today is to swipe or to stare. I'm just throwing it.
Oh,
out
we
there.
will. Wow, I dated recreationally. Do women get to do this and not be judged? Thank you, Monique.
No, hold on. Women can do it and they may be judged. Women can do it and they may not be judged. I didn't say I wasn't judged, but am I particularly bothered about the judgment of other people?
never are.
If I
But some people are.
yeah, some people are,
Yeah.
but right, and so then they wouldn't do it, and then they would be happy, and the people that do it are happy. I mean, we've discussed this on other shows, but it was Paul Weeks that said to me, and this is his famous statement. Did I just say it? I think I started to say it, and then I probably didn't get to finish my sentence. But who said, as long as you remember that the person that you're recreationally dating is also a child of God, that is not, then the recreational dating in and of itself is not an issue. You could then say, "Oh, did you deceive them?" And no, we're not at the deception part.
What is
We're not.
recreational dating, Mark? Can you just clearly define that?
Well, this is what I just said.
Clearly define
Recreational dating
Yeah.
is, for the example I gave, I've got 2 tickets to go and see Lion King next
Yes,
Thursday.
yes.
Would you like to come?
That's
So
Is that-
that is not me saying, I
that's
really
just
want.
a platonic.
It's recreational dating. That to me, or are you going to say that that's not what recreational dating
Well,
is?
no, you say it's recreational dating. I say, Charlie, what's his name's got the play on in High Wycombe. Let's go and see the play.
Well, to me, that's a date.
But
That's not a date.
Okay, all right.
It's two-
Then I am not a recreational dater.
Two good
Okay,
friends.
so
Two
then
good friends.
No,
so
but-
that's not a
okay,
recreational
so-
dater.
okay,
so I'm not
so-
a recreational
so-
dater
so-
because that to me is what a date is.
no,
That's
so I think there's difference because
So
well,
can
we
you
have-
retract your statement,
no,
please?
we have a defined friendship.
Yes.
You understand? So
Yeah.
because we have a defined friendship,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you ask me to follow you somewhere,
Yeah.
or I ask you to follow
No,
me
not
somewhere,
to follow.
Yeah.
Why do you
Or-
have to couch it in those
No,
words?
no,
no,
It's
oh,
not
okay.
to follow.
Oh, okay.
I want you to
Whoa.
come with me
No,
to see the
no, no,
play.
no.
Whoa,
It's
whoa.
it's-
Let her finish because.
I have 2 tickets, and I'll ask you to come with me.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it doesn't mean
To
that.
go and see a play, Alan Charles's play.
Yeah,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean at the end of the night I'm looking in his eyes waiting for him to kiss me.
No, but I didn't say anything about looking in my eyes to kiss.
No,
them.
but I'm
it's
saying
still-
to you,
it's
but
not a date.
But it's
though,
because it's
Mark.
not a
So
date.
a date means that you have
Whereas-
to end up wanting to kiss them.
No, I'm not. But what I'm trying to say that what I'm trying to say that is that if there's a romantic interest between one of the parties, yeah, and you're going out on and you said so if there was a romantic interest between us, or I felt there was a romantic interest between us,
Yeah.
and then you invited me to a play, we went, we had a fantastic time, so then the next play comes and you invite me again, yeah. So then if I'm now thinking, ooh,
And
I
would
wa-
you keep that to yourself?
no, that's him. So
I need to understand what you're
let me
saying.
get to my full stop and you'll hear, don't it?
I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. So
Yes,
if so,
but
you've
you
asked.
don't do that after she's finished saying what
So-
she's going to say.
So a few times you've asked me. I then start thinking, I wonder if this is going somewhere. I then say to you, Mark, oh, Mark, I'm really enjoying your company, you know? Is this going somewhere?
Right.
You then have a choice. You
Yes.
then can say to me,
Yes.
nah, Rasta, or I'm not interested. Or you can say, well, actually, I'm enjoying your company.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Or you can say, yes, I do like you. I'm glad you've seen the signs or whatever else it is.
Right. Yeah.
But what we're also saying, there's Exhibit D as well,
Yeah.
who is a gentleman that will continue that knowing is going nowhere, but
Well, that's
because
deception.
it is deception, but
So
What?
Paul's not. It's not deception, Paul.
No.
okay, listen, I've got
Because-
too many
because-
comments.
Hang on a
No, no,
second.
no, no! Don't you
No.
don't get to run away and hide
No.
behind your comments, Paul. What are you saying?
Mark, you're really antagonistic today.
Listen, if
No,
I could,
no,
if I could pull the wheels
Was
off.
Charlie
Hang
not
on.
antagonistic last week?
But hang on.
No, never.
Well,
I've come out this
you were
week. This
asking
week,
for me to put
I've
last
come
week,
out.
so
I've,
this week I'm
I've
going
come
to.
out of the ring,
No.
out of the corner with my
No,
gloves on
no,
because of
listen,
last week.
Listen,
It's Radio London.
you enjoy the person's company. They're a good friend,
Yeah.
and you're going out to see a play.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed your company.
Yes.
There's nothing more than platonic.
Yeah.
There. It's not a
yeah.
date.
Oh,
It is
okay.
A platonic friendship.
Right. So
where you're going out to see something, or
Right.
going out to have a meal and having a
Good
talk
time.
and a meal and having a good time.
Right.
and
So
going
so
home.
so right, Paul. So from what you've said, I take from what you said now that a date has no platonic intention, because you're saying that's not a date; it's platonic.
But who defines if it's
No,
a date?
GG. I need to understand. You see, you guys, I'm
Never put baby in a corner.
I'm not trying to put you in a corner.
What is-
No, because you said that's not a date because you just went out and it was platonic.
Yes.
Right. So for it to be a date, it's not platonic.
So, all right. So hold it then. Stick
Yeah,
a pin.
I've
Stick a pin
I've
there.
asked the question.
All
That's
right,
all.
stick a pin there.
Yeah.
Mark, let's go and see a play, or let's go and watch a game of football.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a date?
With me and you.
Yes.
It could
No.
be. It could
Well,
be.
it could.
It could-
I didn't know how to answer that.
2026. It
I
could
didn't know
be.
how to. I didn't know how to answer
But that's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We're good friends.
Yeah.
And we're going out to have a meal somewhere. We're going to Nando's. We're going
Yeah.
down the road
Yeah.
to have a meal, whatever, and have a good chat, whatever.
Yes.
It's not a date
Because it's platonic.
because it's platonic.
Right.
So if I'm
right,
going
okay.
out with a female,
Yeah.
why can't I have that same thing?
No, you
and it
can.
not
I.
be-
That's.
Well, then it cannot be called a date.
Therefore, because a date would be not platonic
Oh, can I?
or not have platonic intention.
Yes.
Okay. By that definition, if that is the Adventist Radio London definition, then no, hold on. If that is our understanding, that when I said I was a recreational dater, then I'm withdrawing that because, like, Charlie jumped on and did they know? And now you're saying that if you're going out with people and it's platonic,
Yes.
then it's not a date.
Yes.
Then I have to step back from the.
Right.
We went on because I would go on lots of dates,
Yes.
and it was platonic.
Okay, I need to read
Lots
some
of-
comments.
Yeah, read your comments,
I need to
man.
read some comments,
Paul,
yeah?
Paul Weeks his finger must be tired. Paul's been sending some comments. We haven't caught up with all of them.
Okay, so I'm gonna read. I'm gonna go. Gwen said that could be called love bombing. You know, we were talking about when the
Yes.
guy likes you
Yeah,
and
that's right, yeah.
telling you all the stuff but isn't real. Then Rachel, I don't know who Rachel is. I've never seen you before, Rachel. Lovely to have you with us. What does recreational dating mean in a Christian context?
Paul says platonic. It
I'm
means
not
it's
sure.
Platonic.
Platonic must be stated. Yeah? So if it's platonic, it must be stated. Right.
You mean if it's a male and a female?
But no, I think I think in any
Okay,
context you
which
have
is
to
why I
to
said-
think.
No. Which is why I said, if Mark and I
Yes.
are going out to see a film,
Yeah.
or have a meal or whatever, I'm not going to be asked whether that's platonic or otherwise.
Then you wouldn't call it a
because
date.
it's just exactly.
But then-
that's
but-
the point
but
that
then-
I'm making. It's
but-
So
not
Paul's saying
a
that for it to
date.
be a date, there must be some romantic intention. Let's put it that way then.
Okay. Oh.
We might not end up kissing, but there must be some romantic intention. That's what you're saying, Paul. That for it to be a date, there must be some kind of
It's
romantic
just
intention.
two friends going out. to
You
have
made it
a meal.
avoidant.
No, hold
Okay,
on.
the scenario of women supporting their
We're not avoiding. I keep saying no. Hold on. Let me understand. And you're saying that I'm avoiding. I'm not trying to avoid. I'm trying to thrash this thing out.
Okay.
Paul's saying that for it to be a date, there should be some romantic intention.
Date. In inverted
Date.
commas.
It's a romantic intention. Okay, now let me throw something else in.
Hold on. But we've got comments.
I know lots of
Please,
comments.
I know. But you need to go to P.S. Oliver Thompson in a minute. Let me
Okay.
read some of it. So thanks, Brother Mark. Modern dating online as an advantage surely is maximize connection rather than the first initial face-to-face. Wow.
Yeah.
We told you said about that creation. What is wow? I dated recreationally. Do women get to do this?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
right,
said that
yeah,
already.
yeah.
Right. Oops. Why can't
And
I?
yes, they do, man.
Hold on. Sorry, I don't know why it's there. We go. It increases the dating pool, but we need the online safeguarding in force. Christian dedicated online agencies, are they any good? A question. No, it's the same faces regurgitated in different settings.
Sometimes, but go on.
No.
Keep going. Keep
All
reading.
right. So brilliant question. So women are judged in 2026 as middle-aged ladies. I say I do U.S. style dating. Eyes are sometimes raised by some fellow Christian. What does that look?
Just
Like,
what does that look like?
What does that look like? Okay, yeah. Minnie says, I see you. So they're talking to each other. Some people seem to feel I'm on the prowl. so their so-called married husbands, maybe not intentionally, the insecurity does exist. Yeah, and I think we've mentioned that a few times on shows in terms of the experiences of single women. Sharon says, why your definition of recreational with your definition of recreational dating, Mark, then what do you call it if two people of the same gender decide to go on a play date together? Dating?
Right. That's
that's
was
the same question. Yep.
Point that Paul made.
So-
So if we're gonna, we
that's what Sharon
we
said.
dealt with that. Yeah.
And then Yvonne says, it does not bother me at all because I'm mature. So I pose questions for current younger people dealing with on relations.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon says 2 hours is not long enough. It's not long enough. And she had the
For
boxing glove out. We haven't even hit an hour yet. It may appear positive, but because it's online, friends are not aware, seeing the physical going out. A
See
date.
you physically going out. Yeah.
A date is if you have a romantic interest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who defines it as a date? Anyway, Dawn
No,
says,
if there's a romantic interest, that's the
Yeah,
definition.
That's right. Yeah.
hi all, my
See,
2 pence.
Charlie wants it both ways, doesn't she?
I want it all.
You want it all, man.
My 2 pence. Both parties have to understand the status. Are we dating or friends?
Yeah.
I get that.
But not everybody wants to define it because you know what? Sometimes
Oh, hold
That
on.
is
Charlie
true.
just argued. As soon as I said I'm a recreational dater, before you then said to be a date had to have a romantic interest.
Yeah.
Charlie's first point was, but did she know? So now you seem to be.
I'm not.
It seems like you're Mrs. Trump. Okay, Mr. Trump then.
What in
If I
heaven's
could
name?
eject this man to the studio, yes. People need to state what their intentions are from
Yeah.
the jump.
Yeah.
If recreational dating, that's one thing. If it's dating with intention, that's something else. The issue can be both. Don't know what they want. You know, my thing with that is, the whole thing is that sometimes you're not sure. And depending on how you meet somebody, you might just want to be friends to see if it goes anywhere first.
Yes.
So actually, you don't want to start putting a definition on it like, we are now boyfriend, girlfriend, or we are now partners, or anything else. You just want to hang out, have some fun, do a bit of fun stuff that Jesus says you can, and then and then see where it goes. And then afterwards, the man should say to the lady, I like you. Would you be my girlfriend? And then the lady will say yes. And then you're now together.
And you live happily ever after in a
She
white
could say-
picket fence.
And she could say
Right,
no.
I'm going to catch up
But
with
she
some of
can
the
say
ones.
no.
A few of my messages are getting, and I want to get to Mo Praise in a minute. You know who Mo Praise is?
Yeah.
I need to get to Mo Praise. That was brilliant. But Paul Weeks said, when a woman has a house, a car, etc., that's just being called an adult. I love it.
But,
I love it.
But, so, hold on.
hold on.
And when a man doesn't have those things, what's that called?
When he doesn't have or does have.
Doesn't.
An adult.
No. When a woman doesn't have them, she's an adult too.
No. And when a man doesn't have them.
Oh, you think it should be
adult.
different?
Hello, is anybody going to listen to me?
Yeah.
An adult.
Yeah, that's it.
The end.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
All right. So Paul Week says men in general value partnership, legacy, and respect. Today, many modern women do not prioritize those qualities. I would say to women, do not blow your 20s, your best self with recreational dating because the clock is ticking.
Agree.
P.S. Oliver Thompson says, wouldn't you discuss... You stick to your Instagram. P.S. Oliver Thompson says, wouldn't you discuss it before you both go out together so there is no misunderstanding? Well, all right, I'll come back to that in a second. I certainly wouldn't necessarily discuss it. Oh, we're going out together, but there's no romantic intention. You know, if it's your friend, you've got a mate. If it comes up, you discuss it. Like Charlie says, oh, we've been out a few times now. I'm starting to like you like a boyfriend. You want to explore that? Oh, no. We're just keeping as friends or whatever. If that means we don't go out anymore or it does mean we go out, then fine. I don't know that I'd sit down and say, let's draw up a prenup. We're about to go and see Lion King. But anyway, that's my response.
But if you wanted to draw up a prenup before we went to see Lion King
you're well within your rights.
with a get out clause.
Yeah. Oh, and remember, tonight we're talking about to swipe or not to swipe. Anyway, I'd love this one from Mo Praise. Hey, Mark and Paul, you're too old to understand the semantics of dating. Get back on the shelf.
All right, fair enough.
Because I'm young.
I'm not even going to argue that because you have lots of platonic friends, and the scenario I was going to say is you work with a group of people. Yes, you go out with someone for lunch. Is that a date?
If you say, I'm going out with you next week, Thursday for lunch, yes.
No.
All right.
It's lunchtime, and you both are going to eat.
All right.
And you go somewhere to have a meal.
Yeah, if you say...
Why would that be considered as a date just because you're going with someone somewhere?
No. If I said next week, Thursday, 12 o'clock, we're going around the corner to have a lunch together.
Yes.
Right. If it's just to pick up a chicken sarnie, then it's not.
I've got colleagues here at work. No interest, whatever. And it's lunchtime on Thursday. We're going to go to so I'm going next Thursday to Nando's or whatever. Do you want to come? You go and have the meal, and you go back to your desk and you get on with work.
No,
why should that be considered
a date?
As a date?
Because we made a date. No, but I'm accepting you're saying that in this context, in this studio, that it is, if there is no romantic intention, it's not a date. I'm going to accept that line of thinking.
Can I share an experience that happened to me?
Yeah.
So I was.
I'm still on page 1. by the
I
way.
know we still got loads of comments coming in. Please, we're all gonna get around to your
No,
comments.
I do love your
because-
comments. Go on.
So I was doing a course many moons ago. I was doing a course, and it was like a 12-week course, 12 week. So it was once a week, every week. Go to college to this course. Whilst on the course, there was this. So everyone else on the course, there was were non-West Indians, and so there was this guy that was on the course. He was a comedian. He was actually a comedian, and he was funny. So every lunchtime it'd be like, and because he and I were the only 2 black people on the course, doesn't mean anything by that, but we gelled. We just gelled because we were just so. Every lunchtime, we would go to the Chinese place across the street. So once a week, we'll see each other for 12 weeks, yeah? At the end of 12 weeks, it was a bit sad because it's like, oh man, we had a little thing going. I didn't take it for absolutely anything. Couple of years later, my man calls me and it was like, yeah, I know you wanted me. And I was like, whoa, Rasta, whoa, horsey, where did that come from? Because I just thought we were having lunch.
Yeah.
I just thought we were having, but the wind blew left, and he thought it meant right, and I was like, no, I wasn't. It was for me. It was just we were 2 colleagues.
Yeah.
We had something in common,
Yeah.
and we were having lunch together.
And you had a conversation. It was
And
over.
we had conversations. We would laugh. And I'm telling you, we
that's
used
fine.
to barely laugh at lunchtime. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay. But that's the only thing that I would have just said it was a date. But now I'm accepting the ARL. No. You guys, and that's the problem with
It's
you
not a
guys.
date.
No. I would have said it was a date. Now, by the definition that Paul Lee has given us for Adventist Radio London, if it's a date, it has to have romantic intention. If by that definition, yours wasn't a date, and now mine wasn't a date. So I'm okay with that. Now, I won't say on Adventist Radio London...
Stop it.
No, I won't say it that I was a recreational dater, because now I understand that what that people hear when I say that is that there was romantic intention.
He was a gallus. That's what I heard. Anyway, right. So
Paul, can you deal with this, please? No,
this.
Paul,
I'm not sure.
Ooh,
with
did he
this
say
is what
this?
you said.
This is this. Who's this?
No, not who is this. What's this? This is a thing. What is this? Not who is this. This is not a person.
Okay.
Isaac, Abraham, and
Comment?
Jacob.
Any comments there?
Yes. Comment. I see buck teeth like mine. Me run. You're right, Charlie. When a man doesn't have his house, what is he? Yeah.
Why we got back to the house and
What is he?
What, in
You-
2026 when
What?
no one can afford a house?
You know who your mate is. You don't need to discuss it until you do, due to signals either one of you are getting. True, if you're not sure, that's okay, but at some point people know either way. But people like to string each other along until something better comes along. Yep. And then nothing, then they take no accountability. Get that one. No. It comes because it could become too critical if definitions are stated. But one or both parties might need clear guidelines to guide their emotions. And I
Yes,
get, and
I agree. So
I
we
agree
all
with that.
agree, Charlie. How's that? How do you feel about that? We all agree.
Don't touch my arm.
I agree, but all I would say is that could be male or female.
Yes,
And
and-
let me also say, the beginning comment of that whole passage was, if a man doesn't have a house, what is he?
Yeah,
The same could be said for a female
Yeah.
in this day and age.
in this day and age,
And
yeah.
so people should not be defined by what they have or have not, especially as in this day and age, most people cannot afford a house. And a lot of people are still very much at home living with their parents because they cannot afford. That's the way society is.
Right. So
Don't.
right. So I agree.
Can I read the rest of my comments, please? Out of order.
Who?
Sophia Lindsay said, and I
That
think that was
Charlie.
to Mark. when a man doesn't have one. Yes, that's see. Anyway, I love that. Come on, men know when a woman is interested in them. I totally agree
Yes.
with that. A man does. Mark, Charlie is right.
About what?
Okay, hold on. Let's just say for that comment. Thank you, Ruth. You know straight away when it's more than recreational.
Right.
Yes,
I
we
don't
do.
disagree. I'm just saying, if it is anyway, I've said it many times. Paul Weeks says the platonic, and this is interesting.
No. Read P.S. Oliver's comment before, because he answered that question when we said when a woman has a house, a car, etc., she's called an adult. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I say when a man doesn't have anything, and his response was, "What less, Charlie?" That's what they are. What less?
You sure that's what he's answering?
Yes, he was, because that's when it popped up. And you know what? It doesn't mean he has to own it. Yeah? It doesn't mean he has to own it. What it means, though, is he has to have his own front door. Yeah? That's what it means. He has to have his own front door. A front door to call his
Is
own.
everyone in that position? Is every male in that position? Is every female in that position?
But that should be striving towards it.
Fine, you can strive towards it. That doesn't mean that it's
Strive
going
till
to-
God calls.
It's going to happen because the way society is. I mean, for example, to in most situations to get a mortgage these days, it takes more than
Does.
just one salary.
Yes.
It takes two salaries or whatever.
Yeah.
So if one person, that male or the female, does not have a property to their name or be able to be in that position, that doesn't mean that they're worthless. It means that society is not allowed them. And, you know, virtually every day you are hearing how difficult it is for people to own a property.
And it's not about owning it. And that's what, for me, it's not about necessarily owning it. And I think one of the things that I've seen, and I always tell, especially people that have male children, encourage them to have their own. The industry that I work in, what I see young men who leave home at a young age and they go from living with women to women. And maybe at some point one of the women had a child for them. Then what they then do is that relationship breaks up, and because then they leave the family home, they end up finding another woman that has another child, another woman. So they're moving between people's houses for shelter, in opposed to ever attaining to having their own thing. So my encouragement is not necessarily to get a mortgage, because I understand it's difficult for people to get a mortgage. My thing is having your own and wanting your own and having something that nobody can come to you and say get out of it, or it's not, you know what I mean, or leave
God
the
bless
keys.
the child who has his own.
Yeah, or leave the keys down. You know what I mean? Imagine you're driving your girlfriend's car all the time, and then when you break up, she leave the keys, and then you have no way of getting to work. You know, so it's just that encouragement to have something, and if you're not motivated enough to want to achieve to anything, then that term most probably will come in handy. That's
All right,
Mo said.
I'm just very concerned about us falling into this trap of saying of the haves and the have-nots, and everything being kind of based on whether you have or you don't have, because circumstances can dictate.
Yeah.
But I think, Paul, there's a difference between, because there's nothing wrong with a man living with his parents as an adult if he has plans to do stuff with himself. I understand that hard times fall on people. I understand that life is difficult, but it's, as I said, it's back to Mark is like, we're meant to be talking about online dating, but I think it's something about instilling that value in terms of
Sure.
having your own.
I get that. But we also know that in today's age, more and more people are going up in age while still living with their parents,
Yep.
because they can't afford, because the way rent prices, contracts and things are such that they cannot afford to step out on their own and be able to pay bills and live and all the rest of it. And you know the government is squeezing you for every penny that you can get.
There's
so
no
it's a-
sound
it's a
on Insta.
difficult- It's a difficult position to be in. Yeah.
Because it was ringing. Because the phone
Oh,
was ringing.
that's-
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna read a couple of I'm gonna read a couple of messages that I've got over here on my screen. This platonic thing is a myth. I think the romance thing is always under the surface, and I in a way, I do think you're right, Paul, because and it was interesting. I don't know if you were with us last week when Gus Nyberg was here. And we were talking about chemistry versus covenant. And I actually said that initially I would always look for chemistry, and then the covenant would come. And in his notes, in his book, he wrote a book. He said, well, if you go for the chemistry first, you might never get to the covenant. But if you go with the covenant first, you will get to the chemistry. And I thought that's an interesting take, because I always started with the chemistry.
Yeah.
But Paul says the platonic thing is a myth. I think romance is always under the surface, because in all, gotcha in a sec.
Yeah.
But in all those things, when I talk about, I've got 2 tickets for Lion King and whatever. If at the time, it might have been a platonic situation, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't then exploring, do we have chemistry?
Yeah.
Is there something about you? Whereas if Paul and I go to watch a football match, I'm not thinking, is there something about Paul? So, right.
Exactly.
I said I'm not,
No.
Charlie.
Exactly.
I said I'm not.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think Paul Weeks is correct there. That there's
No.
I think because there is something that you're thinking.
Platonic is not a myth.
Oh, you're talking about that part of the state. I was talking about the other part of the state.
Right.
Sorry. So, but not platonic. I don't think platonic is a meaningless word. I'm thinking he's saying that the romance thing is always under the surface.
Right.
And you're saying it's not always under the surface.
That's correct. I
Correct.
do
That
believe
is,
that.
yeah.
I
But
do
no, for
believe
someone
that.
that you would date.
Like I said, when you're kind of defining date, because
Yeah.
there is no romantic link to it. Because
Right.
Paul is my mate.
Yeah.
And we've known each other since Paul was a baby.
Yeah.
All right, I've known Paul since he
Yeah.
was a baby. We've sort of reached an age now where you live a relatively carefree life, because you don't have to go and answer to somebody else's tune on a daily basis. So you've reached that kind of age. So I phoned up my mate Paul. Says, mate, what are you doing? And he says, nothing. Let's go and have a meal and just catch up. There's no. This is a platonic.
Yeah.
friendship.
No. Yeah. I got
And
that.
there is no
You sold that. You
romantic
sold that.
link
You sold that. I'm
or
with
whatever.
that.
So
I'm gonna read
whether,
some more
hang on,
notes.
hang on. Whether that is a male or a female
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't actually matter,
Yes.
because
I got that.
there is no romantic link.
But you have a definition of
yes.
that.
Sorry?
But you've defined it. So for whatever reason, whether it's because of time, experiences, you have a shared understanding of it. I guess it's about the ones that there's a grey area. So, because there's sometimes you both think you're friends, and then something happens out of the blue, and then all of a sudden the dynamics change between you. But then you address it
Well,
when.
it could.
And then
it
you
could.
address it.
Could.
And that's it.
And
But then
address
some
it.
people
I'm-
don't address it. That's
Well,
what
yeah, we can't. We can't account for the people that don't want to address it. I'm still reading my notes, Charlie. Sorry. Right, so,
I've even got WhatsApp coming, yeah?
so I've got Mo Praise says people are too nosy. It's a lot of pressure for certain women of certain status. And I'm going to finish your sentence, but I think it's pressure for both sides. But I'll keep reading. Too many gossipers. Women sometimes have to date in secret, platonic, until both have had the discussion without pressure or intention. Let romance grow naturally. Mind you, I'm way too old for that anyway. Too much hassle, to be fair. Yeah, but you weren't saying that when you were younger. And that's the thing. A lot of the old people say young people shouldn't be doing this and that because we're just thinking, I'm just knackered. I need to get to bed by 9 o'clock. Yeah, but young people are full of beans.
But it is the
So-
truth, though.
So
What you're
no,
saying is
what
the
she
truth.
said is true. Although it was just that last bit, I'm way too old for that anyway. Too much hassle. P.S. Oliver Thompson. Oh no, I don't need to read that one.
You're exactly right, Charlie. I know.
I knew she was gonna read
I know.
it.
I read it. It's all right.
I don't even know what we were talking about. But
Everything.
everything. You just write away everything. You're missing the point. Paul Weeks says having a house is not a sign of good character, just a good bank account, and that's Paul Lee's point. That's Paul Lee's point.
But
No,
that's
I
not what
agree.
but that's not what I was saying. because
Good.
I-
Okay.
but it was
Okay.
'cause
All right. Okay. That
It,
wasn't
it
what you were
was, it
saying.
was a comment that you'd read
Yeah.
where somebody agreed that
Yes.
that's
Yes.
a deciding factor.
And so, yeah, we don't need to rehash that. It's just that because Paul Lee was making that point, that circumstances could mean that you don't have that. It's just a sign of a good bank account.
It's not a sign of a good bank account having a house. I'm just saying it doesn't mean you have a good bank account because you
Okay,
have a,
fine.
because you
I
have a house.
agree. I agree. All right. So Paul Weeks says, I disagree with. So what? I mustn't disagree and I mustn't agree. Paul Weeks says, I disagree with Paul Lee because God made man and woman to be attracted to each other. It's built into the system. Yes, I agree with that statement, but I don't disagree with your statement that there are people that you'll go to lunch with, people you'll go and watch a play with, people you'll go out to see a concert with, that you have no romantic intention.
Yeah.
And I do remember being very, very upset, not upset, but just put out. I remember I was 16 at the time and I went to visit some friends, and the dad of the friends I was visiting said that there is no man on earth that would go out with a woman without a romantic intention. And I said, well, actually, Boise, we used to call him Boise. I said, actually, Boise, that's not true. Because I can tell you right now, there are people that I used to go to a youth club and I would walk like 3 or 4 girls home. We'd walk in a little route so I could see them all in. And after the last one, then I'd walk on home myself. And he said, I don't believe you. I said, I do that every week. And he said, then there's something romantic wrong in you, or there's something wrong with you as a man. That's what he said to me.
Wow.
And that was, so I was a 16-year-old, and that was a man like the father of my friend, so older generation.
Yeah.
But and I was really
That-
put
that
out
might
by
be-
it.
That might be a cultural thing.
Yes, I was really put out by
Yes,
that because I
yes.
thought, no, I was 3 or 4 girls. You just walk them home, almost like a bus.
Yeah.
You drop this one off, and then you drop that one off, and then last one, because youth club at that
You're
point
taught to do
finished
that.
at 11 o'clock at
That
night.
is learnt behaviour.
Yeah,
And respectful.
yeah.
So how can something negative come out of something that is respectful?
Yeah. So, so yeah, Mo Praise it says, let's face it, dating now is like looking for a needle in a haystack. So dating is definitely not the right word, and it should be called networking with or without intent. I think that a lot of people settle for friends when romance is not possible, says Paul Weeks. Actually, Mo Praise, it's interesting that you say it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. So dating is definitely not the right word and should be called networking, because now we can probably start talking about swiping left and swiping right, or in person dating. Or should I just save my notes for next month?
Hold on,
Could do,
I've
you
got-
could do.
I've got-
I've got one comment that I've
Go.
held over for the longest
Okay.
time
Go, go.
because we kind of moved on.
Go
I
on,
think
go
the
on.
sound
But,
is gone.
But I
On Insta, I don't know. Go on.
Yeah, I don't know if sorry, I think the song is gone.
Somebody else has said it as well.
Yeah.
Right, end them.
And then do it again.
You should have shut. Oh, they couldn't hear you.
yeah, it's a comment
Yeah.
when we were talking about independent women and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Right. So the comment was, my ex claimed he was attracted to my independence and then couldn't cope with it.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And some people feel very threatened
Yeah.
by that. Some males
Yeah.
feel very threatened by women that have it together
Yeah.
and are independent enough to do A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
and again, vice versa. Some women feel very threatened by.
This is what we say. I can see you only.
Sorry.
We definitely heard that.
Yeah. The vice versa. Some women feel very threatened by men that have it together and
Yeah.
and live at a particular level.
And that's- yeah,
Unfortunately, we're living in a society where things are just so up and down.
Yeah,
There is no black and white
It's
anymore.
the competition, isn't it? That's why we get into that, because the relationships are about competing,
Yes.
one-upmanship,
Yes.
and I guess that's probably the issue.
Can I read my comments, please?
Yes, go on then.
So there was a statement said that if a woman has a house, she is a grown up. All the men in the studio agreed with that. Now you men are saying something is different. Exactly, Charlie. He needs to have his things, or, as you said, working towards it. What I was not when I
Show me
was
that
not
with. Oh yeah, I see.
yeah,
the,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
was not church, most of the men that I met had not places of their own and would just move into the home of the woman they were dating at the time. Yep. It's not about what you have, it's about what you're working towards. There we go. Going back to Swipe was there. What is the actual question? And then Dawn says, Mark, I think that said more about Bruce than it did about your character.
Oh, Uncle Boise, yeah.
Boise? Is
Yeah,
it Boise?
yeah. That about
Sorry.
the no, yes, but the guy that said you must want something while you're walking them home. I've got a note here that says that does the way I date reflect Christ?
Good.
Does the way I date reflect Christ? See, and then you've got that little. Well, I can't say monkey on my shoulder because then he might say, "Are you calling me a monkey?" But my mate Paul Weeks, does the way I date reflect Christ? Should we? Oh, dear, is this the romantic date or not date now? But I suppose every aspect should reflect Christ, shouldn't it? Whoever you're going out with should always reflect Christ. Go on,
Sorry, there was a message on WhatsApp. I'm so sorry, Jackie. I agree with Paul. That kind of thinking separates and keeps people single and suspicious. Is God included anywhere? What happened to men who do wrong, are in prison, meet God, and are striving to live right? Is he written off?
Oh, okay. So I agree with Paul. Yes, exactly.
But it's also, but I think what we need to remember is about people's mentality. It's about people's mindset. So if you're talking to a female, and her mindset is about, ooh, your shoes are Gucci, ooh, your belt is Versace, ooh, what road do you live on, ooh, what car do you drive? Then there's a problem.
Yes.
It's the same way if you're speaking to a man and all he's interested in is there's a problem there. I think when you're talking about being intentional dating, it's about, do you want the same things in life? Could you two come together? And it doesn't matter. And that's the other thing. It's not about being intimidated because someone's making 6 figures and someone's only making 3. It's all about, can we come together and build a legacy together? Can we come together and smile every morning? Are you going to make me happy? Are you not going to make me miserable? Are you going to hold me up on those days when I have a hard day? Are you going to be able to pray for me and pray with me, and instead of praying for me with an E? I think it's sometimes we make it into something that is financial and it isn't. But I think for me, one of the things in relation to reality, which is better than online, is sometimes, and I have to say only sometimes, when you meet somebody in reality, it's sometimes easier to chart where they're from, their family, and get that type of information. But when especially if you've met someone through someone else, but I think when you meet someone online, unless you know someone who knows them, you're literally picking a random person in the street and saying, right, let's date and let's get to know each other, and you're hoping for the best in terms of you're hoping they're telling the truth, you're hoping their family aren't as dirty bungalish as they are, you're hoping, I mean, so you're hoping that that you're on the same page, and that you're not going to then unearth a whole lot of lies about someone. It's a chance, and I think that's the thing about online. It's a chance, so you have to pray.
Okay, Paul Weeks says that. He says, I think the swipe left thing reduces people to a commodity, reducing the image of God in that person. It may be the modern way, but it robs people of their value. I think it does in a way. It does in a way, but there are advantages, and I wasn't allowed to get through my notes today. I'm not saying by you, Charlie. Don't. If the cap fit,
Put it on
let
Mark's
them
head.
wear it. Because there was something in my notes that actually went along that way, and it said we're not saying that online dating is wrong, but as you said, you're taking a chance, but very much so. I meet across a crowded room at some kind of party or some event or some whatever. You're taking a chance there too. Now I know it's a lot easier to hide your lies online. You can lie in person, but I think you get found out a lot quicker. But I guess if we were going to go down the online dating route, we just have to be very discerning, have our eyes wide open, and follow some of these biblical principles that I've got here. It says, Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart. It says, there is wisdom in counsel. Sometimes you hear of people that are meeting or building a relationship after having met online. Either they've not yet met in person, or they've met now, but they started online. And some of the things that they say is that remember this, ask the question, does the way we date reflect Christ? Also in the notes I've got here, which I recall, it says, always avoid the one that wants to isolate you. That if they're seeking isolation, then be very, very wary about them. Never ever go into it thinking that I can change the person. I don't like it, but I can change the person. Be very discerning about building your relationships. Having said that, having said all of that, I think. Oh no! It's a message that we've seen already. But the online dating does expand access, especially helpful for a very busy professional who doesn't have time to meet people, or if you're in a small church community. Even last week we were talking to Gus about his book was really good, but suppose you go to church and there's 7 people in the church. I remember being in a church it was a few years ago, and there were 3 people, and when we sat down for Sabbath school, the 3 of us are sitting just like how we're sitting in the studio, and the woman who was the superintendent, we were all talking, discussing the lesson, and she picked up a bell and went ding a ling a ling a ling a ling.
What, for the 3 of you?
Yes, to end the discussion of the lesson, right? The bell. She was talking and she went ding a ling a ling. Yeah, okay, I guess that's the bell. But if you're going to that church, if you're going to that church, the online dating could be a help for busy professionals, or if you're attending a very small church community. It does say that make sure, and that's what this goes for meeting in person as well, but clarity of intent, because a lot of the comments that have come through is make sure, it did sound a little bit transactional at the first. Would you want to come to my play next week? Yeah. Can you write out a contract for me? It did sound quite transactional. But they say clarity of intent. And it says here, and Charlie can speak to this, many apps follow faith filters. So you can come back on that one, but after Paul.
Yeah, sure.
Just what your thoughts on that are.
But
That's all.
Hello? Excuse me. Isn't that the whole point in the site? That's why it's called a dating site. because you're going on there to meet someone that you are hoping that you will date or have a romantic link with.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
So the clarity of intent is
the
already
clarity of
is
intent
implied.
is implied
Yeah,
in the site being available and you being on that site. So anybody that sees you on that site cannot think that you're on there because you know they've got a Conker collection.
Yeah. Or
You're on there because you want to find someone that you can have a romantic link with.
And the thing about it is, and if you're two adult individuals, just because you didn't match in terms of to romantically,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you may not gain a friend
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes and I think it's also the same thing in terms of you might meet somebody face to face somewhere, and your whole intention is that we are going to date or I like you, and then the more you think to them, there's no way in hell I'm going to date you, but you know what? You're actually a good person to be around, and you're nice. You got a nice vibe about you.
you got a
and
house, you got a car.
Bonnie, right? So, let's he's bringing out the street in me tonight. Okay, so can I ask a few questions? Yeah.
You can, and then
Okay.
I'm going to.
So we have some scenarios here, and this might be.
Oh, hold on. You and your scenario. You did scenarios last week. That took an hour and a half.
No, it won't take an hour and a half.
I've got to read.
Well, if you keep interrupting.
I'm gonna read some questions.
Charlie's and Mark's facial expression needs their own show.
It's Charlize, man. It's Charlie. P.S. Oliver Thompson says, online dating. Wow, there's been previous Christian online dating apps, and on 2 occasions there were 2 married men portraying to be single. A friend of ours came to our home, excited about meeting this person. To our horror, it was a married man that we knew. Yeah, okay. Next question, next point. Paul Week says, why not ask the Lord to guide you? I'm not saying that you are going to walk up to someone and say, the Lord has told me that you are the one. That is not what I'm saying. Ask the Lord to create in you the right character so that you can meet the right person. I believe you need to show the Lord you can be trusted with his child. Amen. I like that. But P.S. Oliver, yes, but I could meet somebody at a party and say that I'm single and I'm married. So that the lie can come online and the lie can come in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
So we've got to watch out for that. Go, you can read your scenario now, please.
You're in a cafe. Someone keeps glancing at you. Oh, let's change it from a cafe. You're at a day of fellowship.
Don't go to them.
Well, then you're not going to find nobody.
I go to cafes though.
Someone keeps glancing at you.
Yeah.
They smile. You smile back. No one moves.
Dun dun dun.
Who should approach?
Well, it depends. Whoever wants to. I know Charlie wants the man to approach.
Yes.
Charlie just wants to just be, what would you call it? Now, I don't want to say chaste, but Charlie wants...
Chase me, yes. Chase me. Chase me. Yes. Chase me.
If it's within your personality. to do
But I not run. It's me. I don't build to run.
So
Me not
when
run.
you're running, just buck up in here.
If it is within your
Chase.
personality, hello.
Sorry.
If it is within your personality to do so, because not everybody is that way inclined.
Yes, because I go to we're in a day of fellowship now.
We're in a day of
No, well,
fellowship.
I'm at a day of fellowship, man. I'm concentrating on the sermon, but let's say I'm
this is
somewhere.
After lunch. It's after lunch.
I'm somewhere.
It's not,
Right.
you meet somebody, you see somebody, but what do you do? What do you
I
do?
don't know.
Who approaches? So is it?
I don't have an issue with approaching. I'd approach. It's not a big deal.
You're a man, isn't it?
No, I'm just born in the 60s. And that's how things worked. That's how it worked.
But nowadays,
But girls have approached me when I was younger. Girls approached me.
and how do you feel about that? You thought there was a bit enough in it.
No.
You were okay with that?
Yeah, because they come and they say something.
Like what? Like what?
Give me strength.
Oh.
No, listen, Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because Charlie, you've got to get, there's going to be some meeting of the mind, right? There's a meeting of the mind,
Traumatized.
you know?
You know what this guy said to me? He said he was at this event, and this Jamaican woman came up to him and said, "Your skin is smooth like oxtail gravy."
Is she used to using it as
You see,
said he was scared.
on Adventist Radio London, these are not the people that we are discussing and we are trying to find solutions for. Your skin is like oxtail gravy. Oh dear. No, but because there's a meeting of the mind, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's not an issue for me who spoke to who first. Similarly, I've heard people say, me and so-and-so's broken up, and they say, who left who? To me, that's not even the biggest issue. The issue is,
We're not together anymore.
yeah, and the point is, if I'm at some social event, whatever that might be, and I see you and I'm interested in you, and you see me and you're interested in me, it doesn't actually matter to me. It's not a big deal who approached who.
You drop the hanky. That's what you do as a. I'm old school, and I say it all the time. I like the chase. I like to be chased, but don't chase me too hard because
You see.
I can't
So
run
how
too
do we
good.
know what to do,
Joking.
Paul?
No. But I
Chase
like
me, chase me, but don't run too fast.
No. But no. But I don't mean it's like when I see women get down on one knee and present a ring to a man to propose to them, I cringe inside. Listen, and I know some ladies be like, no, whatever, no, but that's just not my approach. And I'm not condemning anyone, but I guess the
However, I just want to know for no say.
chase me, yes, chase me.
No, but you see, no.
Okay, so
that's not gone.
So it goes on to say, what's the respectful way to break the ice? Is the stare enough, or is it just a vibe with no actions? So if you
No.
and I guess that and I'm talking about grown folk. So because this is meant to be a mature audience, yeah. So as a mature audience, what would you suggest? And Jackie, I'm coming to your comment in a second. What would you suggest if two people were at a place together, and this is now not the swipe, the stare, yeah, in a functional place together.
Mm-hmm.
The lady checks him out. He doesn't seem to have a ring on her finger. He does the same thing. He checks her out. She doesn't appear to have a ring on her finger. Okay, you smile, your eyes linger. Yeah. Oh, look at him. A ring does. I know a ring does. Not everybody wears a ring, but I'm just saying.
I'm just listening to you.
You do certain things.
Charlie, I'm just listening to you. Carry on.
God.
Just
You
carry on.
do certain things with the process of elimination just to make sure,
Paul's gone
right?
to sleep. Look,
So, yeah.
Paul's tired of you.
What do you do next? Oh,
No, what you do, Paul Weeks. What Charlie's taken a toys out of the pram.
I'm rude and it ain't got no manners.
Who?
You tell me you're tired of me.
I'm not tired of you.
We're here to have a conversation.
I'm not tired of you. You could talk to me all night.
No, go to your wife. Sorry, guys, you can't take us seriously. Go on, read your comments. You have plenty of comments.
Good job. This is after dark, man. Good grief. So yeah, we got quite a few, but in case they take me somewhere else, But Paul Weeks says it. Why not the strong, independent woman approach? So our eyes meet across a crowded room. Strong, independent woman.
So hold on. So I must have everything and approach it
Oh
too?
dear, oh
Is
dear.
that what you're asking me to do for?
Yeah, basically.
No.
Because it doesn't matter. What I'm saying, and I don't know if that is exactly what Paul is thinking, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter if I say, "Oh, grief! I noticed you don't have a drink. Can I get you a drink?" Or, Good grief. Do you always come down here? Or I've not seen you before. Are you from the north, the south, the east, the west, or whatever? Just an icebreaker. I'm just going to have a conversation. And then in that conversation, you'll think, oh, good grief, Mark is not for me. Or I might say, Charlie is very much for me, or whatever.
So you would be okay. Let's say we were at a cafe, yeah?
Yeah.
And I came up to you and say, can I buy you a coffee? You would think it's appropriate for a woman to approach a man and then say, can I buy you a coffee?
So I'm sitting. Okay, so I'm what? I'm standing at the bar by myself, or I'm sitting at a table by myself.
Whichever, yeah.
And she comes in, sees me. I look up. She sees me. I see her.
You smile, you gave. You
Yeah,
do all that
hold
kind
on,
of
it's
stuff.
my story now. And then she comes over and says, "Are you by yourself? Do you mind if I sit?"
Okay. And then she said, no, can I buy you? Does she offer to buy you the coffee? Does you buy another coffee?
So
We're saying that
can
doesn't
I ask a
matter.
question then?
Yes.
Can I ask a question because
Dating.
you're told not to put your eggs in one basket. Okay. You may actually see someone or know someone that you are interested in, you like that person, whatever. Do you have this standoffish attitude and leave that person there for someone else to show an interest, and that person then goes off with
Of
somebody
course,
else?
exactly.
Or does God say to you, this could be a potential partner, and someone, all you needed to do was to go up and say, hey,
Yeah, just go and talk
just
to them,
raise it.
because you'll soon find
Why-
out if they're
why
not.
is it that
if you're not
we
compatible.
are being guided by just these particular norms that actually is not going to benefit you?
Okay.
Yeah. Because look, the notes here, I mean, we won't get to go through them. It says you got to be intentional. This is not gender specific or gender exclusive. You got to be intentional. You must seek character over chemistry. How will I know what your character is? I have to approach you and talk to you. It says attraction matters, but character sustains. So attraction, I see you across a crowded room. Oh, you look very interesting. Grief, she's looking at me. She obviously thinks I'm interesting. That matters. But then if you've got an empty character or a nothing character, it won't last. It won't go anywhere. And then it says community and accountability. And the notes below that was very much about you've got to let your community in. You don't be exclusive. If you're starting out with a relationship or starting out in a situation, and whether you met online or not, and they're trying to keep you away from your community, or you don't want any accountability, that is a red flag. We won't get to it, but there is also notes in there. It says that when you meet someone online, beware of always looking for red flags. So yes, beware of the red flag, but not everything is a red flag, Paul.
So with this online dating thing, right?
Yeah.
So we were just talking about the norms of society,
Yeah.
and the question was posed: if a female sees a male at a bar or whatever, should she approach him or whatever? What is the norms or the expectations of a dating site?
The expectation is just that you see someone and approach them, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So a female can approach a male. That's the whole point.
Yes,
In having
yes.
the dating site.
Depending, because there's different types of sites.
No, like you said,
Yeah.
and I heard that. You said
Yeah.
that right at the very beginning. But there are also sites where, it's male dominated or whatever. But the point is that the whole point in these dating sites is seeing someone that you might like. And so a female sees somebody online that is male. And they think, oh, I'd be a really good, I like the person I read about their personality, their character, and all the rest of it, and that's somebody that I like. So the norm of a dating site is you see someone, whether you're male or whether you're female, you see someone that you like and you make an approach. It's not governed by what has been for many, many years societal norms where only the males approach the females.
Okay.
All right. I've got. Mopray says dating app bait trap. I agree, allowing the law to lead you. There are men and women who's coming with baggage. Beware. I'm too wary at my age. Too much baggage. I haven't got time for it.
So
Paul
Roy-
Weeks.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
you had Jackie, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Go
did.
on.
I did.
Go
Roy
on.
saying hi. Hi, Roy. Communication is key. This is Jackie. Communication is key. Don't assume. Ask. Online dating is a tool, just like dating a person dating. Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. If you don't know how to use a drill, get instructions. Think about why and where you're going to use it, and use it cautiously. And she says, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that scenario or script. Whatever is comfortable for you. And that's true.
Whatever is comfortable. man.
Grown folk, same thing as we say as children. Use your words. Let Mark tell a story. Then great show discussion. And then there's something else I wanted to ask here.
And before you ask
Yeah.
it, Paul Weeks says, what does it matter? Today, men are reluctant to ask women out because it may result in a criminal record.
Sorry,
So-
I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing, but
it's tragic, but it's true.
Amount of truth in that,
Yeah.
and that's the world that we are.
That's the
living
world
in
we live in.
right
Two
now,
grumpy
yeah.
men. Anyway, right.
Mo
so-
says we got to get back on the shelf. before
Okay.
we're old.
So, and I'm just do this. This is my last scenario. This is a swiping one.
Okay.
You match with someone instantly.
Yeah.
Great banter for 2 days.
Yes.
Then silence.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Oh,
Is
what?
that normal modern dating behavior? That ease of swiping make people disposable?
Oh, and that's what
And-
Paul Weeks
because-
did make that point with the. You can end up just feeling or being treated like a commodity.
Because
Yeah.
there's so many
Yeah.
that somebody sometimes they could just either for whatever reason go offline. I'm coming to you next, Paul. They can go offline or they just stop talking to you or whatever else it is, and then you're carrying the anxiety of, did I say something? Did I do something? What happened? Why did they stop talking to me? I don't know.
But then if it's 2 days, you shouldn't be that invested.
But that's the thing about online dating. It's a real trap because, and that's what she says, a bait trap. Because you know what? Imagine somebody you don't know, yeah, and after 2 days they've
Yeah.
gotten into your psyche so much that they stop messaging you, and you're thinking, and the person's thinking, Bonda, I don't know you. You think it gives you this false sense of, because look, 2 days, great banter. So you imagine, you know what I mean? You're speaking to them, then they say, let's go offline, and it's feeling like something, and then all of a
In
sudden,
2 days, it's feeling like something.
For some people, yeah,
Mark,
yes.
Mark,
for some
I would
people,
say to
yeah.
you to trial it, but I'm not saying to you to trial it. But
No,
I'm just
I
saying
mean,
to you-
I've met. I'm coming to you, Paul. I see your hand, man. I see Paul saying, oh, "Am I Scotch mist?" Paul saying, "Am I Scotch mist?" I'm coming to you, Paul. But yeah, I've met someone. I've met someone many years ago. Met someone, and oh man, this was brilliant. This is brilliant. This is, and then let's say this is the days before social media and mobile phone and all of that. And so the next time wherever you got a number or whatever, however it went, the next time I'm going to see you again, or a great chat, and the next time, nothing. You're. I think you're a little bit unstable if all of a sudden your whole world has fallen apart. It meant that you weren't compatible.
And also, I think it's also about is a level of conversation you're having with someone. Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Paul.
Paul,
Paul,
I know.
shakes.
I know.
Sorry, Paul.
I know. That's
Sorry,
Charlie's. I've noticed this about Charlie in the last few weeks. I've noticed it.
Next
It
season,
must-
I'm going to say nothing, people, because Mark don't like me talking. He wants to put baby in the corner.
I bet you that doesn't happen.
Can I
Paul,
say
Paul,
something? Right, okay. So here's the thing about dating sites, and I asked the question, what is the expectation of a dating site? Because you might initially show interest in someone, does that mean that your initial interest must end in a commitment to that person
Right.
that you show an interest in?
Right.
Because that's the whole point in having a dating site, and there might be something that you actually like in their character, but there's a fly in the ointment, or there is something within there that actually you're thinking, oh, actually, whatever. And so the lack of interest after that initial contact may mean that you don't necessarily want to pursue that relationship.
Right,
Do you understand?
and the whole thing is being set up like if
Yes.
you think that, or if one of the parties think that, there's something wrong.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that may not be the case.
and that may not be the
whatsoever.
case.
You know, and you know, you go back to childhood, all right? I don't know, you're a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, and you fall madly in love with someone or whatever for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and after a couple of days, you're like, actually, not sure about that. You know.
Yeah.
So what is the expectation when you are on a dating site? What is the expectation? Is it that the person that you show an interest in should be the person that you make a commitment to?
Well, that's it. You cannot know that.
You see, okay. So no, she said
Who-
that's
who-
fine,
who-
Paul.
who-
When sorry, she's saying
Oh, you're.
she's saying that's fine, Paul. All you have to say is you're no longer interested instead of ghosting, and that's
Yeah.
the point. Because some people will just say to you, not interested for whatever reason. Some people want closure, and so it's not like because you then think about are they on a bus? Are they okay? Are they, you know what I mean?
Yes.
What's going on with them? Because you know what I mean? Because you're talking to someone who is showing so much interest in everything, and but going back and yes,
in the
it
2
might-
days.
Oh Lord.
No, but yes,
That
yes, it
was the
can
example
happen.
that you
Listen,
gave.
No,
what said-
yes, it can happen.
Listen,
But I hear exactly what you're saying, and quite right that you should be able to say to that person, actually, I'm not interested, and
Yes,
whatever.
I agree.
But the reality is, because it's on the line,
Yeah.
you're not actually physically meeting or seeing that person.
Yeah.
And so, are you governed by the same rules as if it's someone that you meet physically?
being polite
Right.
is a language that's spoken online and offline.
Right.
So
So
can I-
if I'm not polite,
agree.
Yeah.
so if I'm not polite, then why are you getting bent out of shape about it?
Because anyway.
No,
No,
but
no,
that's
no.
a-
Let
that's
me
a
read this.
legitimate
Let me read.
question.
Let me read
Yeah,
Jackie's
yeah.
comment. She says, "You let them into your psyche.
Yeah.
Being on a dating site is like a rose in a rose garden. You may be eyed up intensely and even picked, but thrown aside if a better picker comes into view.
Yes.
It's part and parcel of the tool, sadly.
Yes,
and I think
agreed.
and I think that's the thing. And
Yeah.
it's I can't explain it because it's just something I can't explain. But what I can say to you is this: I remember once I was speaking to this guy online, and we got on really well. Yeah. Sorry, we got on really, really well. We were bantering back and forth. I'm a music head. We were talking about music. Everything was going really, really well. And then he said to me, and I think we were actually to the point where we were speaking on the phone. And then he said to me, "Oh, give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna go outside and have a cig. I'll be back." I said, "Cig? Yeah, cigarette." I said, "You smoke?" He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "Is that a problem?" I said, "You know what? It is a problem for me, but it's not a problem for you, so that's okay, but I can't continue this conversation." And he's like, "But I'll give it up." I was like, "I'm not going to ask you to give up smoking for me." I said, "No." I said, "Look," and this was like not even very long into the conversating, yeah? And he was like, hold on, let me just have my cigarette and come back, right? And he came back and he was like, he just needed me to explain to him why, after what felt like a connection to him, that I was saying that I was willing to give it up because he said something. Because I said, you don't meet, that's a value that I have, and and it does so for me it's like it's curtains.
Yeah.
Now I gave him the courtesy of explaining it to him.
Yeah.
Whereas other people would have just delete, block, done. And he'd have been like, where did she go? And then he would have maybe, but it's that feeling of, where did you go? And then sometimes they pop back up again, hi. And as Jackie says, it's like you get thrown aside and then because something else comes into view. Then when that doesn't work out, then they come back. And you're like, go back to business.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that because we can't legislate for how they behave. We can only legislate for how we behave. So he can smoke, not smoke, ghost you, not ghost you, be all over you, not be all over you. It's your boundaries, as Gus was saying last week. You set your boundaries. That if things operate within these boundaries, then it looks like we can move to the next base. They operate within these boundaries, we move to the next base. You're trying to operate outside of those boundaries, we cannot move to the next base. Sometimes we just have to accept that other people are individuals themselves.
And hold on, and Gwen says everything is sped up and can feel much more intense when it's online, and I agree with that as well.
It can be, but that's because we allow it to.
No, you know what? Can I just be? I think it's a little bit difficult when you haven't experienced it, because I think it's for someone, because I was on the fence of this thing for a very long time. And it's only when I experienced it for myself that I understand, because you could literally write books based on your experiences online, because it's so fascinating, the whole online thing. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fascinating, but you still set yourself boundaries. You can't say, I'm going online, so I drop all of my boundaries.
Yeah.
So you still set yourself boundaries.
Agreed. Now, one of your commenters just said about the thing about ghosting people and all the rest of it, and having respect and all the rest of it. Similarly, and I think you actually raised this point earlier, Charlie, if you're going to be going down this route, there are questions that you need to ask.
Yeah.
And they need to be satisfied. And if they're not satisfied, best to move on.
Yeah.
Because something is being hidden from you that you should be able to hold people accountable to.
Listen, my biggest thing is my gut. It's a beautiful gut as it is. Yeah. And I always say, I always got my gut. Your gut tells you. Your gut always speaks volume.
Let me read a couple of these. Our time is up.
I know.
Let me read a couple of
we
these.
haven't even started.
Next season, I'm going to come with the same notes and do the show because I
won't be here. So you told me you don't want me here. You want me in the corner.
See, I never once said such a thing. Is that why people ghost people online? Because they make things up. In all honesty, using a dating app has its good points. I strongly believe in letting the Lord guide you, though. There's too much people out there with wrong intentions. Let your relationship with God give you the spirit of discernment, yes, or just stay single and make God the center of your joy. Paul Week says, so what's the conclusion? What then is the point? Okay, let me just make my summary. Christian concerns. Does swiping train us to judge quickly? I think so. Are we seeking God's will, or are we just seeking endless options? Paul Weeks said, I know you're tired of hearing me say this. Paul Weeks says, remember that they too are a child of God. Are we seeking God's will? As Moja says, seek his will. Is comparison feeding discontentment, too much choice? I don't have a problem with a lot of choice. Key insight: online dating is a tool. Many people have said that tonight. Tools amplify what's already in the heart. The stare, it embodies connection. Tone, body language, and shared space. Community context, church friends and ministry. You move at a slower pace. That's what Charlie was saying. You go quickly online and you feel a lot less transactional. I had so much more that I wanted to share, but
Can I read my practical tips?
yes,
Curate with honesty.
first paragraph.
Choose photos that reflect your life,
Choose photos.
not a persona. Yeah. So when you're swiping, yeah.
Oh, choose
Yeah.
photos.
So when you choose for don't choose deceptive photos. Don't do headshots so you don't want people to see your
legs.
You got bust-like hips. You know what I mean? Let people see the bust-like. There's some people who like the hips. Lead with intention. Your opening message sets the tone. Move offline sooner. Don't build a fantasy relationship in chat. Check your patterns. Are you swiping for connection or validation? Stares. Use open body language. A smile, a nod, a small gesture invites conversation. Or flick of the hair. Approach respectfully. Hi, I noticed your energy. I wanted to say hello. Read the room.
I'd go, my energy. Then carry on.
Read the room. Look for signs of comfort, not pressure. Accept the outcome. Rejection is not humiliation. It's redirection. And that's okay. You know what? Every marga planting has a buyer. That's what my mum says. For both.
Have him stick up bush.
Know your for both. So for both online and offline, know your intentions. Are you dating for fun? Or what did you say? What did you say? Recreation?
Recreation.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's before Paul's definition.
I'm
Do you
just
not
saying.
move on?
On you, Mark. Companionship or partnership. Be consistent. Mixed signals create confusion. Hear that, men? Mixed signals create confusion in
that,
both
women?
digital and real spaces. Stay safe. Meet in public. Share your location. Trust your instinct. Yeah? Stay human. Dating is not transaction, it's connection. Therein lies all of my notes and my points.
All right, so next month, 2 months' time, we'll be back and I'll share my points on so to swipe or to stare. Now, it's been a great time we've had chatting. The time has flown by and still on paragraph 1. Time has flown by, but your contributions, as always, have been invaluable. Thank you so much for joining us. It's time for us to go. And we're not going to be back for a little while now. This is the last in the series. So we'll be back in a couple of months' time on a Wednesday night for 4 weeks probably. 8 till 10 on a Wednesday. Do join us after dark. Have a glass of something. Make sure the kids are in bed and we'll have some fun.
And when we're not here, we'll still be online. Because they'll be playing some of the other shows, isn't it? Yes.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent. So we will always be here.
see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Struggling to cope with life,
CCS.
conflict, bereavement, fear, relationship, anger, depression, negative thoughts, trauma, and uncertainty can
Got two
all
things,
cause
mate.
emotional imbalance. Don't struggle alone.
CCS.
CCS, your trusted confidential counselling service, is here for you. Call our listening line
Married.
on 03301
No, Marie de
332
Turville. Seriously, it
945.
done?
Our office line for appointments on 020 7723
You got somebody phoning
8050 or visit our website www.ccscounselling.org.uk.
Oh, you're not ready for them yet.
Our counsellors speak
CCS.
various languages. CCS, a shoulder to lean on. We are here
Why
to
both?
listen.